Hello, and welcome back to the 501c TV podcast in collaboration with Nonprofits First. My name is Jenell Harris, and I will be your host today as we explore the stories, the impact, and the leadership behind many of our nonprofits here in the community. And I'm very excited today to have with me Deanna Sierra, the executive director and also the head of the school for the Boca School of Autism.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very
here today.
excited to have you here
fun.
today. We have a lot to talk about. We want to get into what your mission is, all the impactful programs that you guys have going on, and all the cool stuff that you do. So without further ado, for those that might not be familiar with Boca School for Autism, what is your mission and what drives everything that you guys do there?
That is a great question. So our mission at Boca School for Autism is to provide a high quality, individualized education for students in a safe and nurturing environment.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is for them to be able to contribute meaningfully to their homes, to their communities. And we want to help them reach their life and academic goals.
Okay, awesome. So you guys serve students obviously with very individualized needs. So what does that type of personalized autism affirming kind of education look like?
That's a good question as well. So for us, at Boca School for Autism, that looks like meeting students where they are, tapping into some of their specialized interests. Sometimes that takes a little bit of time to get to know what that is, and being able to kind of help them grow to wherever they're going to go.
Sure.
Each child is really on a different path. All students with autism are on different paths.
Yes.
And so we want to we collaborate with parents to figure out what does the path look like and where are they ultimately going so that we can kind of plan backwards, and we collaborate with the families, our clinicians. So we have speech, OT, and mental health on site. So we're collaborating with them. I mean, we're bringing everybody to the table at minimum annually, but often quarterly, to make sure that we're on track towards that path.
Sure. And just to back up a little bit, tell me a little bit about this school itself, because I know when I looked online, you guys have a great website. It's when you say personalized, I think your ratios are like 3-to-1.
Indeed.
Which is crazy, which is so cool.
Yes, we try on average, we have a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio. It really depends on the need of the student. If this is a diploma bound pathway cohort, they might you might have 4 in a class, but really the students, half of our students are working towards a more of a traditional diploma for high school. They're following the Florida standards. The other half of the campus is following the Florida access points.
Okay.
So their curriculum is scaffolded.
Got it.
We're going to meet them where they are, and it's going to be similar skills and concepts to the diploma-bound pathway, but we're breaking it down at a level they can understand at their pace.
And it's all K through 12, right?
This is a K through 12 campus.
Okay,
yes.
Interesting. Yeah. So how do you move behind a more like compliance-based education and then, going into building confidence and life readiness? How do you roll that all together?
That's a good question, because our staff has found that coming from some of the schools they've had in their past, our staff is very seasoned. Minimum, I think we've got 10 to 20 years minimum each
awesome.
teacher. So they're all bringing this repertoire of experiences with working with autism. But in being able to kind of fold that all in together, we take a look at where they are initially, and parents give us a huge insight into that.
Sure.
When a student enrolls, I meet with the parents. I've got a 100-question questionnaire. We're getting as much input as we can initially, so that the teachers don't have to spend time getting to know all of these things that we have fast access to. So from there, all the students are at different levels. We have found that everybody's at a different level. So we focus on academics, but we're also focusing on the life skills you mentioned.
Sure.
We're focusing on vocational skills,
which is awesome.
We work with families on hygiene skills. What are you working on at home? Do we need a little more deodorant applied during the day? We're brushing our teeth and flossing after lunchtime. So they're getting those skills in. And they're also working towards like post-secondary. What is the plan after that fact? What are we doing after we're done with BSA? Are we planning to go to college? Are we planning to go into a vocational training or extended learning opportunity?
Right.
And how do we work with parents and clinicians to keep each student on an individual pathway? but yet all sort of moving at the same time together, moving forward.
It's a lot.
That is a lot. But like I said, I started with the staff. It really comes down to this, boils down to the staff and collaboration with the parents.
And I would think, like, because it is so really one-on-one, the ratios are so amazing. It's almost like their own children, right? Like,
yes,
personalized, like.
Right. When you have if you think about in a traditional setting, you've got 25 kids in a class, and typically at every hour on the hour, you've got another 25 kids coming in.
Exactly.
When your campus is smaller, your teachers really get to know the students. They have a lot more one-on-one time with the students because they might have them 2 periods a day,
right?
Versus one semester and never again.
Exactly.
So, and the students really do rely on their teachers as a second, third, fourth, fifth family member. They have this connection with them, as well as their RBTs. Some students have a one-on-one unique aid, and that RBT becomes a success partner, a communication partner, a redirection partner. So each child has their own village. They know who their people are on campus.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said about that, for just like feeling like secure. You're in like a kind of like a safe and stable environment. They know what to expect.
They know what to expect. They have a routine. They follow a very specific schedule. We have a lot of structure, but we also build in a lot of flexibility. So if a student needs to take a break, we can sort of tell, hey, ask, do you need to take a break? For some of our students who are maybe not strong communicators or not comfortable advocating, we'll ask. But otherwise, they have an AAC device. They'll use their voice. They'll use a visual, or they will just point, I need a break.
Right.
So we find a way to, everybody has a way to communicate with their village.
I love that. So one of the things that I've heard about, and I want you to talk about this, is you've launched this program called the Bridge to Success Micro Enterprise Program.
Yes.
It's a long name.
It's a long name.
Really cool. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So this essentially starts at ages 14 and up. So our middle schoolers and our high schoolers are actually already in this Bridge to Success program.
Okay.
And what it does is it provides pre-vocational, pre-entrepreneurship training, skills, concepts at a very scaffolded level. So depending on if the students are making right now their own creations.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and we open up their store every other week.
Okay.
Open up the doors, and the community comes, our neighbors, our business partners, and
that's neat.
Everybody's parents, sometimes they come by. So some of the examples are, last year the students started making, they started woodworking.
Okay.
They learned how to make moss art with their woodworking.
Cool.
And then they transitioned to resin art and resin jewelry. Now they're working on dog toys and cat toys and dog treats.
Okay.
They sell all of their creations, and they use the money they earn to go and buy new supplies to make a new project or make more of their product.
That's so cool, because it's like teaching them the whole business
They learn
model.
a whole business model. So in their math class, they're doing, not every day, but they are focusing on their business. How much did we make? How much do we need to spend? They take inventory in their social skills class and in their vocational class. We do have a vocational lab set up where there's room for woodworking, room for resin art. They've got all their tools. They actually know how to use power tools that we take outside.
That's so cool.
It is really neat. So this program, this Bridge to Success program, really sets us up for success for long-term planning. They can either stay in this program once they age out, or they can go off to a different program that'll be ready. And we do welcome the 22 and up population as part of this Bridge to Success after hours.
Okay,
they come like nights, weekends, summertime.
Yeah, that's really cool. Why do you think that teaching this type of independence and, readiness for employment is so important right now, especially for like teens? Because sometimes they can get kind of lost in the shuffle. They might not know what they like or don't like, or what they want to be into.
I think that's a good question for all community members, all business partners to start to understand.
Totally agree.
As statistically speaking, as the diagnoses, percentages and ratios increase, it will be important for their future employers and their future professors to understand a little bit more about what helps them be successful.
Sure.
And so starting at a younger age for students to learn those self-advocacy skills is really important, because the world around them may not necessarily understand yet.
For sure.
Yet.
Yes.
But if we can start training them at the younger age for, what does my future look like? What am I good at? They don't know.
Yes.
Even the families didn't know that their kids were good with tools. We didn't know they'd be good with tools until we exposed them in a safe way.
And that's so cool. I mean, I feel like that's anywhere, any school. I always talk about this with my kids. I'm like, if you don't try something, how do you
And that's
ever know if you're good at it? You
yes,
never
exactly. And that's what we tell visitors and parents when they say, how did you get this group to do that?
Sure.
We just tried. It's trial and error.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about our school is that we have that flexibility to trial and error. So teaching kids at a young age what's available to them versus the traditional doctor or lawyer or nurse, like careers. So we're showing them that you can be your own boss. You can actually be your own business owner.
Yeah.
So our goal is to, over the next several years, as they become older teens, is to help prepare them and expose them to entrepreneurship readiness, so that by the time they turn 18, if the family wants to open an LLC, they're ready to go.
Right.
If they choose not to, at least they have the skills to go support maybe another entrepreneur or come back and be mentors to our students.
Yes.
In the entrepreneurship program.
So like rewarding.
That's
the
goal.
like the best case
Full
scenario.
circle, yes,
Yeah, totally
yes.
full circle. So tell me like a story about one of your students that comes to mind that is probably like maybe surprised you. Like
Indeed.
something that they tried or they didn't know that they were even capable or good at, and
Yes.
they blossomed.
We have a lot of cases like this, but we'll give you our 2025 MVP. So we met a high schooler who came in with limited communication. And because this was a new place and we were all new faces for him, during summer camp, he came to kind of trial and see if he would be comfortable at the school. His frustration levels would rise, and because of his limited communication at the time, he would become aggressive. And so we were trialing to see, how can we communicate with him? How can we tap into what he knows? And then how do we find out what he likes?
Right.
So we found that he loves Mickey. So that was a great way to get him going. Everything was Mickey related for the first few weeks.
Got it.
Turns out he is a strong communicator. He just needed the right tools and the right team. And he is our lead woodworker. He's our lead culinary student. He's our there's zero aggression, by the way.
Yeah.
Within the first 3 weeks, he learned that he could trust us.
Right.
And he learned how to communicate with us.
Yeah.
We started with visuals, but now he actually just goes back and forth with a dialogue.
Cool.
And so that's something that was very new for his parents. They've never really seen this at previous schools. So now the dad is always writing letters of recommendation for the school. He's always like advocating for the school because he has seen in a short period of time the amount of growth in his high school son. Imagine if a school had done this for him in elementary,
right,
where he would be now.
That's what I think. Like you think about, gosh, if we just
started earlier.
Started earlier and just, open the right door at the right time, like how much more. But thankfully.
Yeah. And so that's a common success story, whether it's communication, whether it's frustration that leads to aggression, whether it's elopement trying to leave the room or avoid the task.
Sure.
And then we've also had a lot of success with nonverbal students coming in. We give them the space and the grace and the practice to communicate. We have social groups.
Sure.
Every day, all the kids have social skills class. We're getting messages from parents that they're hearing words from their children that they've never heard before, like, I love you, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Let's play.
Right.
Grandma's house, like just basic communication that is very functional.
Yes.
So, and 2 and 3 word sentence exchanges, which is really incredible for a 5-year-old to be able to access now their own language.
Yeah, that's so great. I love that. That makes me happy. Okay, so we are coming up on April.
Yes.
Which is Autism Awareness Month. We were talking off camera about, we cannot believe it's
already April.
Already April. So we're going to align this episode with Autism Awareness Month, but what does this month especially mean to Boca School for Autism, outside of the obvious reasons of your school itself, but what does this represent to you guys?
Yeah, so this is, I'm getting emotional. Tomorrow kicks off a long list of activities for us. We're celebrating, we're advocating, we're including the students in a variety of activities. Starting with this Thursday, for example, I'll give you a concrete example of how we're kicking off the month, but the whole month really for us is a way to showcase. We are not just posting that it's Autism Awareness Month. We're actually engaging the students and now their parents. We're inviting parents in to come spend a day with their kids.
Yeah.
one group at a time, not the whole school at once.
No,
But
overwhelm everybody.
They'll be finding out today that we're going to be inviting them in this month, in April, to shadow their student. The students are going to do a little bit of a showcase for their parents. They can go into the classrooms, do some art projects with them, do some reading lessons with them. But what we want parents and the community at large to understand about this month is we're celebrating students. They have so many unique abilities that are rarely tapped into. And so we want to be able to showcase that all month long through our communication, our marketing, our social media, but also on campus. So for example, this Thursday, we are located at Florida Atlantic University's Research Park.
Yeah.
So the Florida Atlantic University Police Department and the therapy dogs are coming on Thursday with their vehicles so that students can handprint put their handprint on the cars with paint, like hand
Have they done
paint.
this before?
I mean, not with us,
Okay.
but they do this.
That's why I'm saying, I'm like, I think I've seen
You've
something
seen
online. This is
like
so
fire trucks,
Yes.
ambulances.
so cool.
They're bringing their
I love
vehicles,
that.
and it happens to align with the same time frame that we're opening the students' business in the front of the school.
So cool.
The police and the therapy dog will be in the back of the school,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have a lot going on that day. So
I think that's so cool too,
That's how we kick
because
it off.
I'm gonna backtrack. You said one word that I really loved. So, awareness is one thing, being able to say, like, we're everyone's aware that autism exists, but being able to celebrate it, I think is so huge. And I think that just people have come a long way. So we've gone from just like, knowing that this exists and is out there, but now, we can throw the word like inclusion in there and celebration, and I love that. So
celebrating their unique abilities that
absolutely
don't maybe otherwise would not have been celebrated.
correct, and maybe misunderstood too.
Misunderstood.
There's a lot of that that I know. I personally have a lot of friends that have children with autism. So, and it's when we talk about it, it's just there's no one side. It's not like, if you have autism, then this is how you behave and act, and this is these are all the things. So it's complicated, right?
It is complicated, and after 23 years prior to this school, I was in public schools for about 20 years, and even neurotypical students, there is no one size fits all.
No.
And so, having said that, when you say inclusive and celebration, that is something we're really proud of.
Yeah.
Is to be able to showcase and feature those unique abilities. Not very many kids in Palm Beach County are doing woodworking and moss art.
So I think it's awesome, but again, like it just opens up other doors to be able to showcase different abilities and things that might not have otherwise ever been discovered, in like a typical kind of school setting. So,
and we like to take it a step further. How can I turn that into a career? How can I turn that into a pathway for my life?
Yeah, which I think is so awesome. Okay, so during Autism Awareness Month, how can the broader community move from just simply recognizing autism, so that kind of goes in line with what we were talking about, to actively supporting that long-term independence that they're going to need down the road?
That's a great question. I was thinking about that in preparation for this podcast, because I would love to be able to share with the
complicated
community.
too, I'm sure.
I was very thoughtful about this one question. I would love for the community, meaning our business partners, future potential business partners, future employers of our special population. I would love for them to understand that inclusion is more than just hiring one individual who may be who may have autism or another learning or related, different. It would be nice for them to really understand, if we were to plan ahead 2 years from now, knowing that this is where we want to be.
Correct.
How do I train my staff in the meantime? How do we create supports that are actually going to be beneficial for this? And then partnering with a school like ours to come for a tour, come see the vocational program, see how we modify the actual physical environment to make sure that they're set up for success. All 5 of our interns have been neurodiverse.
Okay.
So we're not experts at interns on the spectrum, but we have come a long way in tapping into their strengths and making sure that they feel comfortable.
Sure.
They love volunteering at our school.
I'm sure.
They love volunteering at our school, and the kids love having them around. It's great role models.
Of course it is. Yeah. And I mean, who better? They understand and relate. And I think that's just awesome. Okay. So you mentioned earlier, autism education, it's not just gonna, end at childhood, right? So What does that long-term kind of sustainability look like on your end? So how do we?
It's so complex, I've learned.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just the schoolhouse.
Mhm.
What we try to collaborate with families on is long-term planning. Special needs trusts.
Yes.
What are we doing with medical? What
All these
happens?
things that
The things
like
that keep me up at night.
I know. I'm like,
What
yes.
do I do? God forbid, if something were to happen, what is the plan and how do we help?
Sure.
How can we be a part of planning the plan? So we do what we call a parent speaker series, and I bring in holistic options. We bring in attorneys, we bring in professionals and experts and advocates in the community who come and be our guest speaker to educate our parents.
I think that's so cool though, because that's like, I feel like the parents are like the group kind of like in the shadows of everything.
Yes.
They get no support. Like
Yes.
in a lot of times, it's like, with anything else, it would be very scary. Like, how do you handle this? And then there's a lot of things that maybe you don't, as a parent, just don't even think of. So for you guys to be able to bring that to the forefront and offer that type of education, I think is like so cool.
Thank you. And we're learning as we go as well. Sometimes, like for example, if a student experiences a family member passing,
Sure.
we're learning how to navigate that, and we bring all of the resources and supports and present it to the parent. Here's what we're doing at school, but there's this other resource they would be happy to help after school. It's really a case by case.
Sure.
And because of the way we've set up our campus and our staff, we can do that. We can provide individualized parent support as well.
Yeah, which
We
I
get
think is
phone-
awesome.
And we actually get phone calls from all over the country. Believe it or not, in the last 3 years, we've gotten phone calls from everywhere asking, do you have this resource? We might relocate to Florida. Who should I call?
Wow.
And so we tap into all of our nonprofit partners to provide this information to the parents.
Because, and I was looking online too, there's only like a handful of schools for as many, like, what is the statistic on how many children are diagnosed with autism?
It has recently increased to 1 in 31.
Yeah.
It was 1 in 36 for a while.
Right.
But when we were in school, we're talking like 1 in 2,000. So, I mean,
That's what I'm saying. And really in just like Palm Beach County, I think there was only like 5 or 6
schools.
Yeah.
Yes, there are. Yes.
Like dedicated, which I actually was shocking to me. I was like, oh,
yes.
Okay.
And so Palm Beach County does a really good job of trying to ensure that the programming that they do have is supportive.
Yes.
Then we have these other 5, 6 options for maybe when it's not.
Yeah. Which I think, which is great, but I'm like, we need more.
There's an overflow.
We need more.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have.
I'm sure I can't imagine the amount of calls you guys probably get on a day.
In the last 2.5 years, we've toured about 300 families.
That's really crazy. So kind of speaking on that, like just in the community, how do nonprofits, businesses, and even like political or civic leaders, I guess, work together to kind of create better pathways to align like students from your school with the community? How do they all work together? How does that happen?
That is a good question. I have brought this up to our municipality about how can we, even as something simple as a once a year annual event, bringing the community together. And Palm Beach does have different siloed or different organizations putting on autism awareness events, ourselves included. But I've been thinking at large, how can we unify the municipalities in this district or in this county to bring the resources for autism, but also bring the potential employers so that they can see, they can meet, they can ask.
Yes.
And do this in a fun, sensory-friendly environment that's maybe not too loud or too overstimulating. That is a lot. It's complex to try to maneuver all of that, but it would be great to bring our cities, our municipalities together in Palm Beach.
I agree.
And so the Miracle League, Boca School for Autism, and a few other organizations got together, and we said we're going to try to meet this need.
Sure.
It's a big task and it'll take time, but we have started the Special Abilities Coalition of Palm Beach County, SACPBC. Cool. We meet monthly, and so we are trying to tackle that.
I love that.
Working on a website and an app just to provide additional easy one-stop shopping resources for families, because there are several really great resources out there, so we're just trying to bring them together,
which makes so much sense. Because again, like I always think about it as a parent myself, like thinking about it, so overwhelming. Like, where would I even
It is.
begin if
It
I
is.
had a question or a need or a concern? Like I said, there's a lot of great resources, but be able to like kind of bring it all together into one spot to make it
Package.
yeah,
Give you a little
just
package.
a little package, put a little bow on
And
it.
you can
and
decide
then
where you go once you open the package,
Yes.
but at least you know where to go.
Absolutely.
So starting from early intervention all the way through adulthood, we partner with different organizations.
I think that's so cool. So as a nonprofit school, how important is it to you guys to be connected to an organization like Nonprofits First?
It's critical, right? As a nonprofit, to be connected to other nonprofits, this is our lifeline. Nonprofits First has provided not just resources, but I've gone to several trainings as the leader of the school. They really pour into us as leaders so that we are able to kind of ripple effect and trickle effect that into our organizations. They offer like webinars that even our teachers have participated in, and all the different events and networking and vendor opportunities. It's been really, really critical for us.
Yeah.
And we've met several nonprofit partners through Nonprofits First.
I'm sure. Yes.
I mean, from equine therapy, which our kids participate in, we met through them.
Yes.
And all the way to, like I said, the leadership trainings that I've been going to, supporting with governing board training. They also even have a grant portal that I can use where I can like research grants to write. So from like A to Z, they've been extremely helpful.
I think it's really cool. I'm an affiliate of Nonprofits First. And one of the things I really love is when I go to an event and it's like, I see two people make a connection and they're like, oh my gosh, like, why are we not working together? And it's very exciting because, a lot of times everyone's kind of like fighting the same fight and out there trying to pool resources and do things together. So when I see that happen, it's like magic.
It is that when
it's very exciting.
When Nonprofits First puts on an event, it usually is like magic. It really is. I learn so much, we grow so much, and then we partner and every time we get together.
And it's like, when I tell you, it's like the best people ever. Like all the nonprofits, like the best people ever. So that's why I love doing this podcast. So if someone wants to support Boca School for Autism, what type of opportunities are there for people in the community, businesses, volunteers even? Do you guys need volunteers?
We do. We do. So there's a multi-layers. So at minimum, please follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We also now are having the students help us with our own YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, which we're talking about that offline. It's so cool.
At minimum, following, liking, sharing, forwarding us to families that maybe are saying, do you know of a school?
Sure.
My child just was recently diagnosed. I don't even know where to begin. Point them to us and we can help get them in the right direction. But as far as true partnerships, we do welcome volunteers. We have a volunteer onboarding process. There's specific projects, there's specific classes, our social skills, our vocational, depending on the type of business partner they want to become. So volunteer opportunities, yes. One of the big things we're working on right now, you heard me mention, we've toured this school 300 times to 300 families in this community, and often the bottom line is the finances.
Yes.
So one thing we're working on is, while we keep the tuition much lower than we probably should, need to, we write a lot of grants. So if community members are offering grants that we are eligible for, I apply for a lot of grants. We do a lot of fundraising and donorship, but we're trying to build our scholarship fund. That's what we're doing right now. Every dollar we raise is for scholarships, so that we can welcome more students to have access to this programming. And so anywhere from social media all the way to helping build our scholarship fund through corporate sponsors, private sponsors, private donors. So there's a variety of ways to get involved.
Do you guys have any events throughout the year that you put on that people can come to?
We do. So typically each month we have something going on, a small fundraiser, but usually there's two or three signature events. So that's typically in August for back to school. We are part of the Boca Chamber Festival Days. So we partner with a for-profit.
Awesome.
We had a comedy night hosted by FAU at the Alumni Center in August.
That's fun.
Our November is our Fall in Love with BSA event. And then our most fun, biggest event is February.
Okay.
We do Beyond the Label fashion show. We have a big luncheon. It was at the Marriott this year.
Gosh.
Last year, the Wyndham hosted it in Boca. So we
fun.
have different partners that we partner with, and the students put on a fashion show in the middle of the luncheon.
I love that.
There was not a dry eye in the
I'm
room.
sure,
It was so
I'm
much
sure.
fun, and
They probably love that.
They loved it. They practiced at school,
Mhm.
and we transferred that skill to the
So
red
cool.
carpet at the Marriott. It was really neat.
I
So
love that.
we did a silent auction during that
Perfect.
whole event. So it was like a gala, but during the day,
Yeah.
so that the kids could be a part of it.
It's great. I
Mhm,
love it. I
mhm.
love everything about it. Well, we're almost out of time because it does go so fast. But what do you want listeners to walk away with today after our conversation? What's the takeaway that you really want to leave people with?
Mm. So I think it's really important to make sure that as we start celebrating the beginning, middle, and end of Autism Awareness Month, we recognize that this is year round, right? For these kids, it's year round. For these families, it's year round. It's not just the month of April.
Agreed.
Same thing with all of the things that we celebrate.
Nice.
And so if you've met one child with autism, you've met that one child with autism because they're all so uniquely special and different.
Yes.
So I would want the community at large to remember we're still going to be there in May, June, July, August, September. Come visit.
Right.
We always ask people to schedule a tour. Just come see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And let's talk about ways that we can partner, ways that you can be involved in, or maybe ways that we can help you.
Sure.
So that's kind of my thing is like, this is a year-round opportunity for the community to be involved.
Okay. I really appreciate you being here with us today
you.
and sharing all the amazing things that you guys are doing at Boca School for Autism. So please follow along, like Deanna said, and just, go to their events, check out their school. If you know anybody that can help them out from a business aspect or somewhere in the community, we all got to be in this together and make good things happen in our community. So I really appreciate you being here today. And we'll see you next time on our next edition of 501 CTV. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.